In this session, we'll see what is subnet and the more advantages about subnet. The major advantage of creating subnet is that not to waste the addresses that is available in the class A. Now, class A is a huge network, or it's the IP address given for organizations where you need more number of hosts. And sometimes what happens, some of the addresses are wasted. So to avoid it, we can create one more subnetwork in that class A address itself. So that is one of the major advantage of creating a subnet. Now we'll see other advantages of creating subnet also. So before that, we'll just again briefly go over what is IP address and the notations used. So IP address is a 32-bit address. So it's divided into 4 parts, and each part has 8 bits. So the maximum value is 255, minimum is 0. So the range starts from 0 to 255. So the 4 parts is separated with a decimal dot or a dot symbol. That is how an IP address is specified. You can actually represent an IP address in 2 parts. The first part indicates a network ID, and the second part indicates the host ID. So this is the part which indicates a network ID. And for a whole set of hosts, this network ID is sufficient. And if you want to uniquely identify the host, you can give any ID based on these 2 bytes. So using classful addressing, you can actually divide it into 1 part and 2 part and 3 part. So for class A means the first byte is just the network ID. For class B means 2 bytes indicates the network ID. For class C means 3 bytes indicates the network ID. Now in this example, 2 bytes are used, so this is class B addressing. Now because there's a lot of wastage of address in classful addressing, so we preferably go for classless addressing, where instead of using this class A, B, C, we just use a network, we just use an IP address, and that you can divide it into network ID and host ID based on the number of bits. So the notation that is used for subnet is it's like this. You can use a notation method where after the slash, the whatever the number say, that is a subnet mask. The mask will tell you what is the network ID of the subnet that is created. So here, if it is 16 bits, means 2 bytes is considered as your network ID. So 2 bytes means each byte is 8 bits. So total 16 bits. So this is the 16 number. You have to place it after the slash. So this is the notation for classless addressing. Now in this, you can use any bytes, or you can increase or decrease the number of masks. That we'll see it in the next example. So if 3 bytes are used, then the number of masks becomes 24 for the network ID. Similarly, if the mask is just 1 byte, then it is just 8 bits. Now we'll see what is subnet, what is its advantage, and how it is exactly created. Now basically, subnet is to create a cluster of host as a subnet, so that proper communication can be handled only within that group, and it helps in routing the information properly. So this helps in creating a hierarchy of networks instead of just having a flat addressing mode. So we'll see that advantage with the example of forwarding table. Now consider you have 2 routers here, okay, and consider there is this one network that is connected to router N. It contains all these hosts till A to F, all the host ID. It's having some IP address, and for all these hosts, A to F, it has to go through the port number 1. Okay. Just for example, we're just telling it is port number 1. It will be actually having an IP address. So to reach all the hosts, you have to create a table storing all the port numbers or the IP address of the routing link. Okay. So if there are n number of hosts, n number of IP address should be stored. Or if there are more, say 64 hosts, then 64 entries has to be there. And if you have 120 hosts, then the table increases to 120 entries. So you can see as a number of host increases, the table entry also increases more. So now that will create a burden on the router. So it has to process all the table entry to instead of having so many entries, if for all the hosts, if we had a subnetwork ID, then the table entry in the router reduces. So we just have to store one entry for the subnet, just the port number 1. So this helps in the routing of the packets. So it can easily identify which link, and the processing time reduces, and the table entries also reduces. And so it can process many networks. Okay, so it helps in the efficiency of your computer network communication. So this is one of the advantage of subnet creation. The second advantage is that you can segregate the traffic of the packets or the internet traffic. Instead of sending the packets to all the network, we can group it to certain set of hosts only. Say suppose you have a two network, and say host 1 wants to send a packet to host 4. Okay, so there are two networks, for one for CSC department, one for electronics department. Now, if you send a packet, suppose there was no subnetwork, consider all this belongs to one network. Now what happens? You have to send a packet from 1 to 4. Now this packet will travel to all the hosts in the network. So now all the host will check which is a destination, and some processing time is involved. And this is also broadcasted to both the department. Instead, if we had a group like this, only for 4 subnet, now this packet will only go for 4 hosts. So it won't go for other 4 hosts in the EC department. So if we create a separate network, so it will only send the packet only to that particular network, and you can avoid the unnecessary movement of packets to the other PCs. So you can avoid much more traffic in this subnet creation also. Now the same solution is useful if for an organization that is connected. Say you have 2 branches, then that is connected to a internet service provider. So that has to go through a router. So only this organization, what packets are required, only that has been routed here, and not to every other organization. And not only traffic, and when network communications, you have to also find out whether the packet have been reached properly or not, and what is the address. So there are other information that also that is required, and that those are the things that is done by the protocol such as DHCP and ARP protocol. So basically these protocols will find out which is the address. So they will broadcast the message and identify which hosts are connected, and which is the how many hosts are there in that particular network. So there's a lot of broadcast of packets that is done by these protocols. So all these information also can be avoided. So you can see there are so many advantages of creating subnet. So now we'll see how a subnet is created. So consider one IP address is given for an organization. Okay, so this is the IP address given. So 24 bits means 3 bytes is considered as a network ID. So the remaining bits are used for your host ID. So we just have 8 bits. In that 8 bits, so you can allocate 256 addresses. So we can divide into 2 subnet. Okay. So when you divide it into 2 subnet, totally 256 address available. So 2 subnets means 128 for this subnet 1, 128 address for another subnet. So now how do you identify which is a network ID for these 2 subnetwork? Okay. So when you, this is the main address. This is the main address for this 2 organization. But once you create a subnet for this specific college, and there's one more subnet for RVC college. So there should be some unique identity, unique ID to identify which organization. So the first address is always considered as your subnet network ID. And your mask will increase by 1. Okay. Now, once it gets divided into 128, how many bits are required? To represent 128 addresses, 7 bits is sufficient. So we have the remaining 1. So that 1 bit will identify whether it is PESIT network or it is RVC network. So the mask will become 25. So in other words, we are taking 1 bit from the host ID as a network ID. So we are borrowing one bit and we're increasing the network ID. So that is subnet. Say for example, we have, this is the IP address, and we'll borrow 1 place from the host ID place. So when you borrow it, this becomes the subnet mask for the subnet that is created. So the remaining bits can be used as your host ID. See, in this, you can see the example properly. See, there is 1 bit which is borrowed. Okay, you can see there's the bigger size is the positions where the network ID is borrowed. This actually belongs to the host ID. But since we're dividing one network into subnet, this 1 bit is sufficient. And how many networks are we creating? 2 networks. So 1 bit is sufficient to identify uh, which subnet it is. So in 1 bit position, either you can take 0 or you can take 1. Okay, so now this becomes your network ID and the remaining are used for your host ID. So if you want to create with one IP address 2 subnetwork, there are 256 address available totally, but since 1 bit is used as a network ID, we have the remaining 7 bits. With 7 bits, you can have the ID from 0 to 127. And for the next network, 128 to 255. So much ID is available. Now, when you combine the total number also, it will become 256. Okay. So here for the subnet 1, 128. For subnet 2, 128. So even though we borrow 1 bit position, the number of addresses is not decreased. Only the method of identifying the network ID is changed. That's all. Okay. This is the way of how you can create multiple networks without reducing the number of addresses available or wasting any addresses. Now, suppose if we want to create 4 subnetwork, say consider the same IP address, 24 bits is your network ID. When you create it into 4 subnetworks, we need 2 bits to represent each subnet. So we'll borrow 2 bits from the host ID place. So 0, 0 and 0, 1 represents the second subnet, and 1, 0 means it represents the third network, 1, 1 means it represents the fourth subnet. So when you're borrowing 2, now the mask increases. Up till here it is 24. 24 plus 2 more places, it becomes 26. So what is the subnet mask? It is 26 bits. And where it starts and where it ends? So it is 256 is divided into 4. So each subnet will have 64 addresses. So subnet 1 will start from 0 to 63. The next subnet will start from 64 to 127. And the next third subnet 128 to 191. Then 192 to 255. Now we'll see how to do this subnet creation using a Cisco packet tracer. So while allocating the IP address, you have to make sure that what is your first IP address and what is your last IP address. So when you're creating your subnetwork, so each subnet will have equal addressing, but we need to have a unique ID for these subnet. So your first address will become your network ID, subnet network ID. So this first address, what is allocated here, becomes a network ID of subnet 1. This one becomes ID for the subnet 2. And the last address available in the particular subnet becomes your broadcast ID. So in every subnet, 2 network ID is not used. Okay, so other IP addresses are available. Those numbers can be used as your host ID. So now we'll see with the simulation. So we'll take an example, say this is the address. So it has 24 bits as a network ID. Now this IP address is used to create 2 subnetwork. Okay. So before going into simulation, first make a note which is the first ID and which is the last ID. So we are creating 2 subnet. When you create 2 subnet, 1 bit is borrowed. So 1 bit position is sufficient. So for subnet 1, it's all 0, and in subnet 2, this borrowed bit contains all ones. The first address here, it will be 192.168.1.0. So first address cannot be used for the host ID because that represents a network ID. So the first address to be allocated in the network is 1.1. And the last IP address that is available is 1.126 and not 127 because 127 represents a broadcast ID. Similarly for network ID for the subnet 2, it starts from 120. So the starting address becomes a network ID. So the first IP address is 129, last is 254. 255 represents the broadcast ID. So 2 addresses not available. We can only use the range between 129 to 250. So while creating subnet, the IP address is very important. So we'll see what IP address and subnet mask are added. So the first IP address is 1.1 and the last one is 1.126. So go to desktop IP configuration. So it is 1.1 and the subnet mask is 24 bits. But actually what is the mask? It is 25 bits. So up till here it becomes 24 bits. Okay. So we have borrowing one place. Now this bit is just to mask the network ID. So the value of this one is nothing but 128. So the mask becomes 120. So for every PC, the mask is same because for all the PCs, the mask is 25 bits. So I'll be adding the mask. IP address I've already set. This is for the second network. Even for the second network, the IP address starts from 129 and ends at 254. But the mask is same. Okay, this I had just kept empty so that just to show how the IP address is set. This is a subnet 2, the last IP address I'm setting. The last IP address is 254. And when you click for the subnet mask, it automatically comes class C. But since we're using classless, we have to make it as 25 bits as the mask ID. Okay, now all the IP address and the subnet mask is added. Now we'll just link all these PCs to hub and a router. Now to communicate with this, we need a router. So we'll select a router. Now make sure what router you're going to use. Suppose we use this router 89829. Click on this, check whether the link is available. So first link is available, second is not available. See, there's no IP address to be set. So we cannot use this router. So we'll select 2911. So we'll just remove this. Now when the cursor comes like this, you can use escape. That cursor changes. So select shop option is removed. Now the router is selected. Now we'll connect it. Now when you connect it, it shows which link it is used. So the previous link was 0/0. This is 0/1. See, now it is red color. So red color means the connection is not correctly established because we still have to give an IP address for this. Now we need an IP address for this link because this LAN cannot talk to a router until IP address is given. And router works in the network layer, so IP address has to be given in order to communicate with the LAN. Now within LAN, you can use MAC address. Outside LAN, while connecting into router, you need a IP address. So we'll give an IP address. This is 1.1 and this is 126. So here we'll give it as 1.3. 192.168.1. Now for this subnet 2, we'll give it as, we'll use the address which is not used by this. So it is 129 and 254 is assigned. So we'll assign here as 130. Make sure which link you're changing the IP address. So 0/0 means subnet 1. So that is why it is 1.3. And the mask is again 120, 128 because it is 25. Then click on. So then it becomes green color. So it has been set properly. Now we have to make the 0/1 link. It's automatically set properly. So you just click on. So it becomes green color. Okay. Now all are green. So it is properly connected. Now consider all these addresses. For all these three addresses, when you apply the mask ID, that is 255.255.255. 128. When you apply all these masks, you will get the address of the network ID. Okay. Similarly, for the subnet one, when you apply the subnet mask to any of this ID, you will get 1.0 as a network ID. So that is why the first address cannot be used as your IP address, because that is considered as a network ID. So now we'll send a message from one PC to other PC, one subnet to other network. So it's coming failed because it will take some time to note down the route by the router. So do it 2 or 3 times. So again it failed. So you can see here it's still failing. So keep sending it until the route is established. Okay, there's one more correction has to be done. See, we've set the IP address, subnet mask, and the router is set. We have not set the gateway address. So that is why it is failing. So we'll just set the gateway address. Now for these two subnet, it has to go through this link. So the gateway address is 1.3. Okay, gateway for the subnet 1 is 1.3. Now for the subnet 2, the gateway address is 130. Okay, now it is set. Now it should work. See, it is successful. Since we had not set the gateway, it was failing. Now it will work for all the people. We'll do the reverse way. Okay, this is the example for creating two subnetwork. You can add more PCs and you can create four hosts and one subnet. Another two PCs you can add and give some IP address. This will become 4 host and subnet 2.